welcome back everyone. Remember last week I was stripping down the Honda 90 engine, which is at the back there. This week I said I had a Husqvarna kids motocrosser, so I've got the engine here. I've took the engine out the bike, ready to strip it down. Now before I took it out the bike, I drained the oil out of it, and I don't know if you can see there, the oil, the plug, the drain plug, magnetic, and all the chippings and that, so it looks like it's chewed up some gears in there. So we'll open it up and have a look and try and find out what the cause is and what the damage is. Right, first of all I'll take off the bead block, so because it's going to have to come off to split the crankcases. Then we'll check all this while we're going through it. It's had the water and oil drained out of it, but it's always the same with these. Doesn't matter how long you leave it, trying to let the oil drain out, they still load in when you come to split it apart, and you find water gets trapped in little waterways, and it spills out all over the bench. Okay. Right, next let's see, just have a look at the piston while it's there. Everything seems to be alright down there, but it should be. It's the top end and the crank is separate from the gearbox on these, so it should be alright. Right, next thing we'll take off the barrel and the cylinder head. Now what I'll do is I'll just take off them as all in one go rather than split the head. Don't need to do that just yet. Might when we put it back together, we'll see. Plenty of little boxes so that I keep nuts and bolts and things in. Just trying to get the gaskets off in one piece. If I can manage it. Alright in there. Now I'll just try and get the good one pinned out and put the piston away so it's somewhere safe. Gentle so I don't end up damaging it. There's the little end. Okay, so I'll put that inside of the piston then on the gudgeon pin so it doesn't get lost or damaged or dropped on the bench and covered in grit. Okay, let's see if we can slide this inside the barrel and then it'll protect it. It's the pin, there it is. Piston, everything safe. Right, next thing, take the alternator cover off. So everything's got to come off, so that gear lever's got to come off. Right, use another tray to keep everything off this side. I'll leave that on for now. Just have a look at the other side. Might have to use it for a little bit of leverage to get the nut off the other side. Right, so the flywheel, the stator plate probably all have to come off, but let's see what's in this side first. I can't remember, I know I've had one of these or similar one apart before. Don't know whether we've got to take the kickstart off or this plate off. I think we might be able to take it all off in one go. So I'll give it a try. Looks like I might have to take this out to get the side casing off. Right, so I'll just take the kickstart off then. Yes, I did have to take off the kickstart. So that's just on the washer that goes with the kickstart lever. Right, so with the water pump drive in there. That's one of the drive gears. Right, so there's two nuts to come off, this one and this one. So I've cracked everything off there where I need to. This, the flywheel, what I used on here is this tool, like a wall grip, where it's got pegs sticking out to one side and these two levers, and I didn't think much of them when I seen them, but it has came in quite useful for holding flywheels, putting in there, and also clutch baskets and the likes when you're trying to tighten up the nuts holding the clutch basket on. These two do seem to work quite well. So anyway, managed to fit that into there, and using this, cracked that off, so that nut's loose. And on the other side, see, there's not a lot to hold on to here. You've got to be careful with the clutch basket because you could end up cracking the fingers that's sticking up there. What I tend to do, and I know it's not recommended, but is to put a bit of mild steel in between the teeth, and then I was able to crack off the nut on there, on the end of the crank, and also bolt in the centre of the clutch basket, so wedging it that way, you're able to slacken that one off. Now doing that, as long as this is, well, this is just mild steel, it's softer than the teeth on the gear cogs, so it shouldn't cause any damage to them. The only thing you've got to watch for is if they're really tight and you're trying to force it to open, that it could end up cracking the case apart, I suppose, but it would take a lot to do that. Anyhow, these should all be free. I'll try and remember where all these go. Or what a lot of people do is take photographs at every stage as to where the parts go. Let's see what's under here. This has got bearings in there as well, so we'll try and keep them all together. Checking for there's no little shim washers or anything like that. I think I have to take this gear linkage mechanism apart, because the drum probably wants to go through that way. Although it may be alright, they might all stick together. So I'll try leaving them as they are. And when we take this casing off, we'll try and take this casing off and leave all the gears in the bottom, so it may be okay doing it that way. So we assess the damage, see what's what. Right, let's see if we've got a piece of wood that will fit under there just to keep everything flat. Right, there we go. Put a couple of pieces of wood there just to keep everything level. Stop it wriggling about. Right, this side. Decided to take this off and hope that it comes off okay. I'll pop these in the tray with a flywheel cover on. All kept together. There's a magnet. Now I'll have to see if I've got a puller for this flywheel. Right, I've got a puller that seems to fit. This is off, I think this is off Honda flywheel and pit bikes. I think that's what I got that one for. Let's it in. That's it, it went. Funny this, because it's this end's got a left-hand thread on it. It should come out now. Yep. And now we'll take these the bolts out for the stator plate. Now before I take them all out, I think, well, before I take them all out, I'm just going to check to see where it is, if there's a time mark or not. Ah yes, there's one on the side here where the plate is, and the casing, there's a little mark on it, so that can go back in the same place again. Let's So it looks like it's everything apart from these bolts here, so see if I can get them all cracked off. I think that's all the nuts and bolts, so I think I'll clear the bench a bit and then we'll try and crack this apart and see what the damage is. Right, that's a little bit better. So what I'm going to do is try to separate these. Now normally the bearings on the crankshaft are held by the casing, so they tend to be tight to try and get open. What we'll say we'll go, we might be able to just tap them off. See on these they've got a couple of lugs around about to tap them off. You often get people, there's a double pin cord somewhere, check it, it's out of there. You'll often get people, once they've getting it so far open like this, get the screwdriver, sticking it in between and trying to open it up, and it only damages the surface where your gasket's got to sit. So you've got to be careful whereabouts you're trying to tap them. It seems to be going okay. It. Now one thing you got to watch when you're doing this is that there's no sort of shim washers about. One there and the other one on. No. Anyway, you got to watch for them because sometimes they fall out and then you don't know whereabouts they came from. Crank's nice and free, so you can see anything with these gears. That shaft seems to be alright. So it's the fourth cog down on this side. I'll try and figure out which gear that is. Looks like could be fourth gear. Now I think, yeah, third and fourth are joined together on here. So let's see if I can take it out. Remove that pin. Sorry, there's a spring in there. I'm going to watch that here. Funny things as well on these, the pins aren't fixed in. It's only that which is actually keeping it in place. I suppose that's all it needs. And again, unusual that they have these springs inside of here as well. So I'm going to take this one out as well. This holds in two of these gear selectors. I don't know if I'll get that out. Oh, yeah, came out. There's another one underneath. And again a spring. Get the spring out. lines so I don't lose everything. So before I do, check over. They're a little bit chewed as well, the teeth. Not much. Not compared with this one here, which I'll show you in a second. Right, so you can see around here, they're all chewed away. So I'll try and find out what's causing that. It could just be kids crashing them into gear. I don't know, but we'll go through everything and check that all the bearings are alright, all the shims are in the right place, and the selector drum and the forks are okay. I'll give them a good inspection, but they look okay. Don't seem to be worn or bent. Can't see any crack in that one. So it looks like I'm going to have to get them in it again. Get a couple of these gear wheels, that one and the corresponding one on the other side, and anything else, gaskets I suppose, and then give it a good check over, and then we'll start to build it up. Anyway, so thanks for joining us again. Hope some of you might find this useful, particularly when we start putting these two engines back together. So if you've enjoyed it, could you please give a like and maybe add us to your subscribe list. And like I say, thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you all again next time, and in the meantime, stay safe.